A quite time ago, when I was in school, I first heard about Darwinism. It gave a decent explanation on how species did evolve as opposed to fixism, the proposal religion offered. However, Darwin did not reach that idea all by himself. He certainly was inspired by someone else's work, Lamarck's theories. In fact, both theories are similar, as they only differ in the mechanism behind evolution. To enlighten this idea, we can use the giraffe example. Lamarck said that giraffes enlarged their neck in order to reach food, then their offspring would be born with a larger neck. Darwin instead said that the giraffes with a larger neck were the ones able to reach that food and the only ones able to have offspring as there was no more food for the rest. Then their offspring would be born with a larger neck. Lamarck's idea would be mocked by the rest of the scientific community. Not only at that time, as I can remember how even my biology teacher mocked his idea 200 years after. But, lucky for Lamarck, history did not stop there. In the recent years, there has been a twist in the field of biology, epigenetics, which resemble what he said 200 years ago. So what are epigenetics? We're all made up of tiny cells, and inside these cells is our DNA. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and it's like a long chain, about 2 meters long, that holds all our genetic information. This DNA is made up of 4 building blocks: thymine, adenine, cytosine, and guanine. By arranging these 4 blocks in different ways, our cells can code for all the 20,000 genes we have. Just like Charles Darwin suggested, this genetic information can change slightly and get passed down to our children. But here's the twist. When we put all these DNA blocks together, it's too long to fit inside the cell's nucleus. Remember, it's 2 meters long, so it gets really squished up. This squeezing and compacting of DNA is a big part of a field called epigenetics. The way our DNA gets squished is inherited, and it can also change based on our habits. Now, you might be wondering, does it really matter how our DNA is squished up? Well, the answer is a definitely yes. To put it simply, the more squished up our DNA is, the less it can do its job and express itself. On history, there have been a few examples of their effect. On 1944, as a consequence of the Second World War, the lack of resources and really tough winter, the Netherlands were plunged in a really big famine, known as the Hunger Winter, which means the winter of hunger. Most of the population suffered from severe starvation, surviving with almost 500 calories a day, the fourth part of what a normal human being eats in a day. What they didn't know at that time is that under these circumstances, their body initiated different mechanisms to cope with this situation. One of them was compacting the genes that codified for proteins that increased their metabolism. By compacting them, they weren't enabled to express and therefore their daily need of calories lowered. As a result, the babies born during that famine nowadays have a higher risk of suffering from diabetes or obesity. That's because epigenetics are mainly modifiable during the embryonic and fetal stage. However, they can still be changed during adulthood, and there are many researchers trying to use this as a therapy. With this example, and thanks to all the research made, we can finally confirm that Lamarck was right. More than 200 years apart from when he proposed his theory. And this is the moral of the story: no matter what you do, 200 years apart can be the spare that will light someone's greatest idea.